Hello, my name is Robin with Little Robin Designs. Welcome if you're new here. Welcome back if you've joined me before. I have my 2025 Nashville market releases to share with you, so let's get started. All right, so let's jump right into it. I've got, first up, we're going to show you springtime snippets. This is what the chart looks like. Okay. And here are the smalls. This, oof, if I can hold them without them falling. This is the final in my coverlet inspired series of trios. Obviously this one is for spring. We started with Little Liberties, then we had Slightly Spooky, then Merry Minis just came out in December, and now we have springtime snippets. I will hold each of these pillows up and show you them individually. So my arms are a little short, so forgive me if I'm a little shaky. This should focus here any minute. Any minute, there we go. So this one says spring, and this is Weeks Dye Works Glacial Melt. I love that little row of lambs. This one, by the way, was stitched by April Hamilton. She actually stitched all 4 of this series for me. She did an absolutely beautiful job on all of them. This is the second pillow. This is Bloom. I just love this sort of, it feels, not Art Nouveau, what am I trying to think of? Arts and crafts. It feels a little bit arts and crafts to me. And I love this blue and green together. This is my favorite color combination, is blue and green. But you could do this in absolutely any duo of colors that you like. Anything that says spring to you, you know. Pink and green, pink and purple, blue and pink, whatever you like. Okay, so these are all stitched on 40 count linen with 1 strand of threads. This one says hop. We've got some carrots down here, and then carrots in the negative space up there. I don't know if you can see that. I'm having a hard time seeing it in my screen. So, and then we've got these bunny faces with their big old ears. Hopefully that focused for you. This is, so like I said, it's stitched on 40 count linen, fiber on a whim, cream and sugar, stitched 1 thread over 2. It's all full crosses. Weeks Dye Works Scuppernong and Weeks Dye Works Glacial Melt are the 2 threads that I chose to use. Like I said, you could use any duo of colors that you prefer. Anything that says spring to you, have at it. Or even just use, choose your favorite spring color and just make it a monochrome stitch. All right, up next we have the Robin's Nest. This was model stitched by Sophia Mule. This is on 40 count Barefoot Needle Arts Spring Seas, stitched with Classic Colorworks hickory sticks. I do provide a DMC conversion in the chart, just like with all of my charts. Let me get this up closer. This fabric is just gorgeous. It's, blue, and it's got some gray and some purple and some beige. I love it so much. This is all full crosses, so completely Ada friendly. Let's see. The trim is XJU Designs Nougat Cream Rick Rack. And this frame is just something that I picked up and deconstructed it and, put it back together and painted it so that it would work for this. I did provide the paint colors that I used and, just the very basics of the technique that I used to get it sort of weathered looking. Let's see if this will focus. I think that's good. Just so, that is in there too. It's not an exhaustive tutorial by any means, but there are a lot of painting tutorials out there. This is what the booklet looks like. It is a single page booklet. The chart and all of the finishing information you need is inside. Okay, let me put this aside. All right, next up we have Ruth Grace Scur, and this is an adaptation of an antique in my collection. I know we're not supposed to have favorites, but I think this might turn out to be one of my all-time favorite stitches. I love this border. I love the specialty stitches that she chose. I love this basket down here that's, you know, even though it's over one. Now, the two specialty stitches, well, really three if you count the over one, but the two specialty stitches she chose, closed herringbone and rice stitch, are both Aida friendly. And I do have stitch diagrams in the chart for both of those. And I have a picture of it, you know, here's what it would look like if you put it on Aida. Here's what it would look like on linen. For the over one, which you can't really do, well, maybe you can, and maybe you're way more talented than me, but you can't really do that on Aida. So I have provided an alternative for her name and for this basket of flowers. This alphabet, you can pretty much do anything that you want in that row. I see, you know, this little alphabet here is over one. I don't know if you can see that. My suggestion is that you just do this chain across, but in that sage green color, if you're doing this on Aida. I will show you the antique in just a moment. First, I'm going to show you the booklet. So here is what your booklet will look like. There's that. And like I said, I do have diagrams. Just show you just a little bit. Diagrams. And I do have a write-up in there about Ruth. Ruth Grace Scur. I was able to find this little girl, which was really, really fantastic. I can't always find them, and you know, I love them even when I can't find them because of the lens that it gives us into, you know, it's like an entry point into women's history and the history of girls and their education and what did life look like for them. So even when I can't find the girls, I love their samplers just for that reason. But I really do love it when I can find these girls. And I did find Ruth. She was born in Sackville, which is a town in New Brunswick, Canada, in 1818. She married her husband in 1839. Her family has very long, deep ties to the community. It looks like they actually were some of the founding families of this community, which is really, really interesting to me. And I found some interesting notations in the historic record, you know, in some of the census records that I have some questions about. I think I have an answer, but I wasn't able to find corroboration anywhere else in the historic record. And so I didn't put that in my write-up about her, but I am going to continue to look and dig. And if I get more information or if I get confirmation of what I suspect is true, I will, you know, update everybody. I'll, you know, I don't know how I'll do it, put a separate write-up on my website or something like that. So anyway, here is her antique. This is the original. I did chart this from the front. Isn't that so charming? One of the things I loved about this one is I really felt like Ruth's personality just spoke through her choice of stitches and the way she did that crazy floral border. I just love this so much. It just is so fun. And oh my gosh, let me tell you, I have a new favorite specialty stitch. This closed herringbone is a little bit addictive. Like, you get going with it and you kind of just don't want to stop. I do plan to do a video on specialty stitches. So I'll do a video on the closed herringbone stitch. I'll do a video on the rice stitch. And I'll probably also do a video on the, oh my gosh, my brain is failing me right now. The one that, sorry, the Algerian eyelet. But I won't get to making those videos until after I'm back from market. So in the meantime, if you get your chart before I make a video, the Royal School of Needlework, the RSN, has a fantastic series on their website, and they have videos and diagrams, and that will get you started and tide you over. And honestly, theirs is probably just about the definitive guide, but I will add my own as well. So this is Ruth Grace Scur. She is almost entirely Ada friendly, and I do give alternates for the parts that are not. So I hope you love her as much as I do. All right, next up is Jane Jaques. I believe that this is a British sampler, and I believe that the way that the Brits say the name Jaques is Jaques. So someone who's a Brit, let me know if I'm saying it wrong, if I'm butchering it, but I think that that is the way that the Brits say it. Anyway, this is Jane Jaques, and she is a big, big girl. She is, let me open my book and let you know. She is 276 by 366. I stitched her on Fiber on a Whim Affogato, 1 thread over 2, with NPI silks. And I did provide a DMC conversion in there for the NPI. She has one specialty stitch, the Algerian eyelet, and that is Ada friendly. I do have a stitch diagram in the graph. So we have the alphabet and the alphanumerics are all Algerian eyelet, as well as her name and the date, her year. I don't know if this was the year she started or the year she finished. I would guess the year she finished, but there's really no way to tell. And then you've got this row of eyelets, this row, and then this chain, sort of. So I really, really love the colors that she chose. I absolutely adore this border. Let's see if that's going to focus. I absolutely love it. That border and then these birds up in here are what sold me on it, what made me want her. But yeah, her colors are just beautiful. Unfortunately, Jane Jaques, there were a lot of them that it could have been our Jane Jaques. So many that there was just no real way to narrow it down. Unfortunately, Jane is a very common name, and apparently so is Jaques. But, like I said before, I love these for the window they give and the entry point they give, a place, they give me a place to dive into looking at, okay, what was this girl's life maybe like? What were the things she was experiencing? What beliefs were maybe changing at this time? And the Regency period, if it was finished in 1819, it was finished at the very end of the Regency period in England. So Bridgerton, and I do go into, in the write-up here, I talk a little bit about, where I give sources for a couple of the books that I used to do some of my research. I already kind of knew a lot about the Regency period, but I came across some information that was new to me, and it was a really, really interesting, revolutionary period of time. It really, really was, in particular for women. I'll leave it at that. Like I said, there are some sources listed in my write-up that if you're interested in that time period, you might want to check them out and give them a read. Right. I do have the antique to show you. So this is the original. It was stitched in silk on very fine linen. This is my cat Zoe talking to me. Yeah? Are you okay? Why don't you lay down? Lay down. I had her over here. She's very happily sleeping on a chair right next to me, and now she's gone over to another chair. Let's see if she's going to lay down or if she's going to yell at me some more. You good? She's so funny. She has to be next to me no matter what I'm doing. So when we're down here, this desk usually has all my teacher stuff on it. When we're down here during the day, I put a chair next to me that she can sleep on, and she very contentedly does that. Earlier today, I was up in our dining room, stuffing the springtime snippets, and she was really, really upset that there was no place for her to sit with me. And so I moved a chair and put a cushion on it and put a hot water bag on it for her so that she would be happy. And she immediately settled in. I love her so much, and it's mutual, so I'm not complaining at all. Anyway, she's happy now. She has decided that that spot is fine. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so this is the original Jane Jaques. She was conserved at some point, so you can't see it, but this whole sampler is stitched down with very, very fine, nearly translucent threads onto some sort of I feel like it's a polyester background. It almost looks like, stockings. I don't know if anybody watching is old enough to remember wearing stockings, but it's slightly thicker and not as stretchy as that material, but it certainly is like that flesh-toned pantyhose material. Anyway, so as you can see, there's a lot missing here. So some of this, like can't really, I don't want to touch it too much, but like right here, we've got some of the alphabet missing. So I did kind of have to just sort of wing it in some spots. And because I couldn't really get to the back, I did chart from the front. But these colors really, they really didn't fade a whole lot. In the tree trunks, I think that she maybe used I don't know if you'll be able to see it here. Let's see if it's going to focus for me. Sorry. Come on. There we go. I don't know if you can see. There are like two very slightly different green shades in those tree trunks. And my supposition is that either this was hung in a place where it faded unevenly. Maybe, maybe the sun came across just like this part, but not that part. Or this was two different dye lots of the same color and they faded differently. I don't know, but someone took the time to conserve this and take care of it and preserve it. And that makes me really happy. It means somebody really cared about it. And, it was meaningful to someone. And, now we have the opportunity to make something meaningful for ourselves with it. So here is the booklet. This is partially in color. I have made the Algerian eyelets be in color just to sort of help you, visualize what color should be where. I do have a thread legend. So, I have listed, letter A is NPI 843, B is 226. And then for the numbers, and then for the rows that are in there as well. I thought about making the entire chart in color. And I know that some people do prefer a color chart. Here's why I didn't. I have a really, really hard time seeing color charts. I have really bad eyes. And, it's correctable. I can live my life with my contacts. It's not really a big deal, but I have a really hard time seeing symbols when they are on a color chart. And I figure, you know, if I, at still barely, but under 50, have a hard time seeing that, then probably other people do too. So that is why my charts are, and probably will be, the printed ones anyway, black and white. But again, for this one, I did make the Algerian eyelet part of it. I did make that in color, just to, you know, kind of get a general idea. Oh, this is a red. If you want to play with the placement of your colors and not use what's, you know, called for in the alphabet, or, you know, at least not in that order, feel free. You know, don't feel like you have to only use what I have in the thread legend. Feel free to make it your own. If you don't like doing Algerian eyelets, you could do a rice stitch, or you could do you know, just 2 over 2. There's all kinds of things that you could do that fit in that same space. If you don't like Algerian eyelets, don't ever be afraid to make it your own. Let me see, is there anything else I wanted to say about that? Not really. Yeah, unfortunately I wasn't able to find her, but I do have a write-up about the time period that she existed within. Again, with a couple of sources if you want to do some further reading about the Regency period. All right, next up we have Mon cher père. The English translation is the name of the chart, to my dear father. This is an adaptation of an antique in my collection. I'll show you the antique in just a moment. I love the colors on this. This makes me think of, you know, maybe a place that a man, I don't know, that someone would go to have, you know, just to be away from the world. It's near the water. It's probably quiet. You can probably hear the trickle of the water or the burble, you know, whatever speed of water you prefer. I love the colors in it, the way the greens and the blues and these creamy golds all play together. Oh, it's just my favorite. So like I said, this is an adaptation. It was stitched by my good friend Emily Riley. She has been a fantastic model stitcher for me from the beginning. And this was on 40 count linen from Lap and Loops on tea, Earl Grey, hot. And the threads are overdyed cottons, Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Arts, Classic Color Works, and there is a DMC conversion in the chart. Here is the antique. So as you can see, let me see if I can not get a glare from all my other stuff. So as you can see, I did play with the colors a little bit. It is not a stitch by stitch reproduction, but I wanted it to just sort of, I don't know, I feel like the colors are faithful but not identical, if that makes sense. And I wanted it to be a little bit brighter than it is on this. Honestly, I don't think that I think this fabric did not start out this brown color, and I didn't take it out of the frame yet because I'm not ready to really clean it and do what needs to be done to actually conserve it. And I didn't have to in order to do the charting. So, but I have a feeling that this is this brown color because of what's behind it. I think that the canvas probably, well, let's see. Yeah, I think you can see that the canvas, like up in the corner, is kind of paler. I think it got dirty at some point. I'm not really sure. We'll see when I actually take it out, but I don't know when that'll be. But I really like how bright it is on this lighter linen. Of course, you can do it in any color linen you want. This is all full crosses, so it is Aida friendly. And this is very small for, you know, a sampler that's this detailed, I think. It is 114 by 103. So, you know, it wouldn't take very long to do, even though it is, you know, basically full coverage. There's not a ton of confetti, which can make things take a lot longer. So that is To My Dear Father. Here is the booklet. Let's see if we'll focus, if my face isn't there. If you see me squinting, it's because I'm just, the screen on here that I'm looking at is teeny tiny and I can't really see it. So forgive me in advance if I show you anything and it doesn't actually focus. I just can't see it. But that's the back. Okay, all right, and now we have one more. All right, and now we have the Fanciful Sampler. This is the second iteration of this sampler that I have done. The first one was for Alicia with Fanciful Flamingo. It was for her first signature sampler box. And she wanted it to be on a box that was made by, you know, she wanted it finished on a box that, I believe it was Chantal's 141, made the box. And she wanted it finished that way. So we got some custom trim done by Lois from Lady Dot Creates. And we put this on the box. But for the general release, I wanted it to be in a frame. And so that's what I did. I had my good friend Emily Riley stitch this model again so that we could put this in the frame because the other one is glued down onto the box. It's not going anywhere. So this one is so much fun. I love these colors. They are just so vibrant and so happy. I don't know what's happening to me as I get older, but all of these things that were never on my radar or that I even honestly kind of turned my nose up at when I was younger, like super bright colors like this and animal print clothing, I'm really becoming more and more drawn to it. I don't know, is this something that happens to all women of a certain age? I don't know, but it's happening to me, and I'm not mad about it. But look at those colors, those pinks and those oranges, and there's some reds and some really pale blues and greens. This is so much fun, and it's so fast. I think I heard Steph from Lindy Stitches talk about, you could do a motif a day and be done with this in a month. And I think that might actually be right on the, right on the money. Anyway, this one is so fun. This one is stitched on 40 count, all full crosses. So again, this one is also Ada friendly. This one was stitched on 40 count Seraphim linen in Dusty Road. And the threads are Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Arts, and Classic Color Works. And as usual, I do have a conversion to DMC in the chart. I'm going to show you the antique now. I don't think I've ever shown this antique. I could be wrong, but excuse me. You can see that this was done on an uneven weave. And so this is much more square. And I did fiddle with the design also. Full disclosure, I did fiddle with the design so that it would fit on that box lid. So this isn't just a matter of the type of fabric that got used on the antique versus what's on the adaptation. There is an element of Robin fiddled with the design. But, you can see that it is, I'm going to call it a faithful adaptation. You've got that burgundy and pink border on there still, that great big orange tree, this beautiful vase or, urn with that hot pink and purple flower in it. I love this one. It's one of my very favorites. So much fun, so cheerful, so bright. And then this is the chart. And there's the back. Yeah, so that is all I have for you for Nashville market releases. I will be bringing all of my models that released, after market 2024. So summer, fall, and Christmas 2024 releases, as well as a limited number of charts for those releases so that shops can see the models and, have an opportunity to replenish their stock maybe if they need to. So if you need to replenish your stock of any charts, let your shop know and I can make sure that I have those in stock for them. There are a couple of 2024 releases that I am very limited in numbers on and will need to get a reprint when I get back from Marcia from Nashville, but that shouldn't take too long. So if you need it, let your shop know. Shops, I'll have stuff with me. Models will be there for you to look at. All right. Now I just have a couple of things that I have been loving that I want to share with you, and then we will wrap this up and we'll be done for the night. All right, I wanted to share a couple of things that I have been loving with you before we go. First up is a beautiful stitchy gift that I received a few months ago. You know who you are. And it's this beautiful scissor fob that she made for me. Let me see if I can hold this right. Okay, so there's one side. Let's see if I can get it to focus. And then here's the other side. She used motifs from Grayscale and added my initials and the initials of my business, LRD. And then look at this beautiful woven ribbon. I'm not sure you're able to see that. On the edge. Excuse me, I literally cried when I opened this. This is so beautiful. I will treasure it always. Just stunning. And then look at this freehand embroidery that she did too. Can you see that? With it? Oh gosh, it's so gorgeous. So beautiful. You know who you are. Thank you. I will truly treasure this always. The next thing is my planner. I was looking for my smaller one that I had to show you, but I can't find it. Anyway, my friend Michelle brought Hobonichi to my attention, I don't know, 2 years ago now. And I started out with the weeks, but now I have the, this is the Techo cousin, so it's bigger. The weeks was just, it was too small. You know, it was very handy. It was about this size. This is my commonplace book. I'll talk about that in a minute. But it was about that size, and it had, I think it had, I don't know, was it weekly spreads and then daily? I don't know. It was a couple different kinds of spreads, and I found myself just not using it because there just wasn't enough space for me to write with my giant handwriting, first of all, and then to put in all the information that I really needed it to hold. But the weeks, not the weeks, I'm sorry, the Hobonichi cousin is bigger, and it has monthly spreads, weekly spreads, and then daily spreads. So it'll be 2 days facing each, on the facing pages. And man, that is perfect. That is exactly what I need. I can do, all of my son's activities. I can do keep track of all of the Little Robin Designs stuff that I need to keep track of, as well as, just the personal things like the daily habits tracker kind of things, household management kinds of things. All of that There's plenty of room for it in here. The only thing that it doesn't have that I wish it did is a sufficient, what I would feel like would be a sufficient space for it to really truly replace my commonplace book. So this is just a tiny little blank notebook, and I have added tabs to it for the different categories of things that I keep track of in here, or that I just make, you know, quick on the go notes about. So I've got tabs for design, homeschool, home management, quotes to be read, and then my gratitude journal. I love that. When I was very first out of college, the company that I worked for sent all new hires to the Franklin Covey program, and then, you know, they bought you one of the binders and they refilled your pages every year. And once I left there and had to pay for it myself, I did for a couple of years, and then it just sort of, I don't know, fizzled out. I don't know if I'm not sure you can even find those anymore. I don't know. There used to be a whole store. I'd go to the store in the mall, buy my page refills. Anyway, it was very useful. And then since then, I've just struggled, you know, to really find a good system. And I really, really like this system a lot. It's great. It doesn't come with this cover. It comes as a paperback, just like a paperback book. But it's a lay flat kind of thing. So that's nice. You know, you don't have the spiral getting in the way of, you know, writing on the left-hand page, or, you know, or the right-hand page if you're left-handed. So I found this leather cover on Amazon, and it's called a Moterm, M-O-T-E-R-M. Let's see, can I see it? And like I said, it's leather, it smells like leather, and it comes in a ton of different colors. I got this teal color. Again, so planner, super happy with that system. Finally, I feel like I have a system that I will be able to stick with. It'll work for me, and you know, it's great. It's been great. All right, the next thing is a piece of haul. I might have a little bit of an addiction. I am always on the search for the perfect stand. So I'm not sure if I've shared this before or not, but very early on, after I started stitching, I started having problems with my hands when I was, you know, trying to hold. You know, I was stitching with a Q-snap and trying to hold it and stitch one-handed, and I was really, really having trouble with my hands. Like, they would go numb, they would get swollen and sore. And, you know, my grandfather on my mom's side and then my grandmother on my dad's side both had, problems with their hands as they got older. So, you know, I very quickly moved to, sorry about that, using a stand. And, you know, added benefit, two-handed stitching is much faster. But this is a lot easier on my hands and on my wrists. So, you know, it is what it is. So I have a little bit of an addiction. And I just bought another stand. And I am loving this. I bought the Patoki. I think this is the Patoki Modern. This is milky white. I love it. I really, really love it. So you've got this little lever that you loosen, and then you can change the angle. You can put it down flat for travel. You can set it up really high. You can sort of, you know, in between. And then when you have it where you want it, you just close this lever again. I am a little bit concerned, I'll be honest. I'm a little bit concerned that this lever is not going to stand the test of time, but we will see. But I have been using this since I got it, and I really, really like it. I can sit on the couch with a teeny tiny piece of, with a small little whip that I'm working on right now that I won't show you. I'll show you another time when it's done. And, you know, just sort of plop this in my lap and just go to town. It is fantastic. And to go with it, you know, because treat yourself, as Donna Meagle would say. I don't know if you're a Parks and Rec watcher, but I love Donna Meagle. And she would say, treat yourself. And so I did. I got the new Winterberry case that is meant, you know, it's the travel case for this, for the Pitoki. It's beautiful. And again, so I got this tealish kind of blue color, which I love, and I've seen it on the other Winterberry cases, and it is this shocking fuchsia on the inside, which 10 years ago I would have been like, oh, I don't know about that, but man, I kind of really dig it. I dig it. I don't know what it is. I really love it. So it has this tray that comes out from the top, so you can put, scissors, glasses, pencils, whatever you need, thread. And then on the inside, you've got plenty of space for the Pitoki to sit in there. And it's got these reinforcing, what do you want to call them? I don't know, just something to reinforce the sides of the case so that when your Pitoki is sitting in there, it's less likely to be crushed. So very excited about that. It will be coming with us on our trip to Nashville. I do have some stitching I plan on doing while we're there in the quiet moments, if they exist. So yeah, so that is what I am loving right now. I hope that you guys have a great week, have a lot of fun watching people post videos from market. I plan to post some on Instagram. Maybe I'll make some of them shorts here on YouTube. But I know that a lot of people will be posting, and so I hope that you all, get into the spirit of it and just keep checking in and seeing what's going on. It's a really exciting time for our industry, and it's the only time that we all come together in person to see what we are all up to. And people can say it a million times, but there is nothing like seeing these models in person. It doesn't matter how good the photography is on the cover. It's nowhere near as good as seeing the model up close and in person. And so I think it's really important that we have this time for that to happen. Yes, it is a big expense. It's a big time commitment. But I think that overall, I think it is fantastic. I think it's fantastic. I really like seeing the shop owners, getting to chat, catch up with different things that are going on, meeting new designers, seeing my hero designers, and catching up with my friends. It is a fantastic time. I'm looking forward to it. I know the other designers that I know and chat with are looking forward to it. I hope you all are looking forward to it and can enjoy the weekend as well. All right, well, thank you very much for watching, and I'll probably see you again in the early summer. Have a great day. Bye-bye.